Morning, everybody. Today we've got Carl Perkins and Blue Suede Shoes. And for those wondering, yes, Elvis did a version of this, but he didn't write it. This man did.
Yep, Carl Perkins is a guy that a lot of people followed. He wrote a song called Matchbook that Ringo Starr did when he was with the Beatles early on. So Carl influenced a lot of people. Fantastic. He's also the writer of one of my favorite songs, which we'll eventually do, that he wrote about his father, which is a great song. That's coming down the line, though. So, yeah, here's one that everybody seems to know, but nobody seems to know he wrote it.
Here we go.
Okay, so Elvis ripped off the exact song.
Yes.
No change, even in the music, the arrangement. This guitar solo back then was blazing for then. The fact that he played this was like make people's heads spin. Carl getting down back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That rock's pretty good, man.
That was really, really good. As someone who comes from the new generation, this is a great song. I love it. Speaking for the 2000s like generation, I say I was born in 2008, so I'm gonna give this a 8 all the way through. I like this. I think my generation would like it if someone did a maybe like a cover of it now. I think they could make their own little twist on it. There's a bunch of artists now who could do a twist on the song.
Like people could be so creative with it. And, you know, what people need to remember when they look at this stuff is this was the cutting edge. This was the originators of rock and roll. And so they had nothing really to look at before them that really was this style of music other than some blues.
Yeah.
I know Carl Perkins, like he always said that Carl would come under some heat sometimes because back in those days, he liked to play with African American musicians.
Yeah.
He thought that they were excellent, and he'd sometimes have trouble about that. And he said the greatest compliment he ever had was that the black musicians would say that Carl's a white guy in disguise. You know, because he doesn't play like a white guy. He plays with so much feeling and the way he sings, and he does that and I think that way, I think he was one of the early guys that kind of started bridging those gaps between like, oh, it's white music or black music or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I'm just gonna play anything, and because he'd also play like straight out country too. Like he did everything.
Yeah,
he's a really talented guy.
Like a countryman, a little bit, and yeah, like totally. Every like Elvis and a bunch of these guys ripped off the black musician. There's a great clip. I'm putting it on the screen now of Little Richard. He's at the Grammys with like this artist, and then he literally just says to him, "You ain't gave me no Grammy."
Yeah,
he just calls him out, and I'm like, "Good for you, Little Richard."
Yeah, yeah. And I was seeing Little Richard and Chuck Berry talking, and how they said, you know, they would go buy their albums and then go home and take the album out of the jacket of the white player and put theirs inside it, so their parents thought they were listening to the white guys.
Oh.
And then they just get rid of the white record and just use the cover, so their parents would know. And their parents would hear the music and have no problem with it.
Wow.
It's only they had a problem with it when they saw the color of the guy. And that was the only reason. So yeah, guys like Carl Perkins, I think he set the trend, and he started to open doors for, a new wave of musicians that weren't just all white.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said he was just part of that early group that allowed some of that. Johnny Cash was like that too.
Yeah,
like he was in the
Beatles.
Countryside. Yeah, the Beatles. The Beatles came out and they were talking about B.B. King in the early '60s too, and saying how great he was.
Richard in Germany.
Yeah,
that was huge. So what are you gonna give this song, Dad?
I'm going to give this a good solid 8, just based on its historical value of rock and roll. I mean, how many songs have this kind of thing, that little shuffle beat to it,
Yeah, not that many.
Yeah.
So, Carl Perkins for Blue Suede. Oh, yeah, a little story real quick. I didn't know Blue Suede shoes existed until like the 7th grade when we had to read like a short story. And I was like, what are these things? And I looked it up. Thank you, Mrs. Ambler, if you're watching this. So, you can lay up those Blue Suede shoes, Carl, but you got to know that music's love.
We love music.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.